So this is how to kick real hard. So you'll want to study nunchucks or a flail. Figure out how to really whip the end of a flail. And so you'll find you have the main stick, like the nunchuck, and to get the end part of it to hit really good, you're swinging it around with a little bit of a whip. And so when you do that, you're grabbing the, I should really have a nunchuck, but whatever. You're grabbing the base nunchuck, we'll say, the nun, and then here's the chuck, and you're pivoting the chuck. So in that system, here's your base nun, and then this is going to be the chuck, or even that's going to be the chuck. And so your hand, in terms of the kick, is going to be the hip. So if your hip throws the knee just a little bit, that does the same thing as the knee muscularly opening like really hard. Like if you were to fire your knee really hard, if you just take your hip and you throw the whole joint in a relaxed way correctly with a whip, it'll whip and hit like way harder than an extension or way harder than an opening. So when you kick, you have to think of it as you're using your leg and your foot as a weapon, and the weapon is basically a nunchuck. And so the same way that you generate power with a nunchuck is how you generate power with your kick. And it really is just conceptualizing the legs correctly. And so then also you're going to want to project that energy all the way down and out the skin. And that's going to be what lets you impact an object without hurting yourself. And so you're kind of whipping, which anytime that you get a whip going, a whip is actually energy. Anytime there's something whipping, there's a wave moving, and when there's a wave moving, energy's flowing. So when you kick with a whip, you're basically sending energy down to your shin or down to your foot. And so once that energy's flowing, then you just let it go out into the skin, and it'll naturally do that anyway if you're getting the whip. So you'll notice if you're whipping your legs correctly, you'll get resilience too. You'll be able to kick harder without it hurting yourself, because you're hitting with that energy. And if you hit with the energy, it takes a ton of the stress off the structure, because the structure is just transmitting it. It's kind of slippery. And so it lets you practice, like, once you get it, as long as you're discharging energy, it's discharging energy, it's discharging energy. And so you can dial it back and work on just the energetic technique. And so you could even, like with the foot, the top of the foot's pretty nasty. A whip into the toe. It's not fun. And if you like really get it, you just start sending energy at them, and your body will just express that wave, which is what happens when people get into like good conditioning or good fighting shape anyway.